All right, so today we're looking at the 20-year annualized returns by asset class for the last 20 years. And we see that REITs is at the top with 10% return, and the S&P 500 is at 7.5%. And we look at the bottom end of the spectrum, we have cash at 1.4%. And inflation eats away at that at 2.1%. And as we know, these days it is much higher than that by a large margin at 8.7% these days. So if we want to take a look over the last 150 years, how did the S&P do? And the average return per year is 9.07%. Which includes the dividends. And so that's why you want to reinvest the dividends if possible. And the annualized returns with no dividends, inflation adjusted, is only 2.378%, which is why inflation does eat away at returns. And so what we want to take a look at is compound interest and see if we start with $2,000, typically a younger person has $2,000 in savings, and let's say they add about $5,000 per year. I think is reasonable for somebody to be able to save about $100 per week and sacrifice on other things so they're able to do that. And let's say they have 40 years to grow that at a 7.5% annual rate of return, which we just saw is the S&P 500. So if you put that money in an ETF that tracks the S&P SPDR ETF, and we'll see what happens after 40 years. And so it comes to about $1.257 million. So if we compare this to a 45-year-old who has 20 years left until retirement, and they contribute $27,000 per year into the S&P and get a return of 7.5% each year, this would come to $1.265 million, which is similar to the 25-year-old. And so this is why compound interest is so important. As Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it.